absolutely love, and it's a little bit of a, sorry, that was my dog groaning, not me. And we've gone a little bit French over here with these bottom kind of scoopy bit. It's like the body of the strawberry, the main bit. What do you call that bit of the strawberry? The red bit. And we're not built for that. The Brits, we are just not built for hot weather, I don't think. And I think like our national sport is complaining about the weather. Hello and welcome back to Knitting with Betty. I am your host Betty, and this is actually the second time that I'm recording this video. So I recorded on Monday, it's now Wednesday, as I was going to babysit someone's sausage dog on Tuesday. So I took my computer to edit the video, and when I opened up the file, the video was great, but there was no sound. So I have double checked, and I'm hoping this is recording now, because if it isn't, I'm not doing it again. So this is my second attempt, and it has been a while since I've sort of sat down and gone through the projects that I've been working on, because I've rather excitedly started a brand new job with a company that I absolutely love, and it's a little bit of a, sorry, that was my dog groaning, not me. It's a little bit of a dream job, but as anyone who works in marketing will know, the first couple of weeks are quite hectic, because you're sort of trying to get to know a new brand, and you have to hit the ground running in the first couple of weeks to sort of get the tone of voice and like really deep dive into a company to get to know them. And so that's it's been exhausting. So I've been a little bit frazzled, and I might forget words, and just my dog's shaking, and I might not make sense. So bear with me, guys. It's been a few weeks, but hopefully things will start to settle down soon with my job, and I'll get into more of a routine with them, and hopefully be less tired. But I suppose first thing I'm going to start with is, as the title suggests, is I've got 3 great summer projects for you that are vintage inspired. They're not vintage patterns, but they've got a very vintage kind of style to them. And we've gone a little bit French over here with these patterns. So actually all 3 of the tops that I'm suggesting are from French designers. So 2 are from a company called Massimil. I can't remember where she's based. Is she based in Lyon? Or is she somewhere else? I can't remember. One of them's based in Lyon. It might be Lise Taylor, actually, who is the second designer that I'm featuring, and her top I haven't actually started yet. But I've got one finished top, because it's been so long that I've managed to knit this top, and I've got one that I've started that's a knit along that I'm doing, and then the third one I haven't started yet. But I'll go through those, and then I've got lots of finished items because it's been so long, and I've got some exciting yarn that I haven't got around to showing you yet, including that very colourful Beanie Babies yarn that I've put on my community tab but not actually got around to showing you in a video. So there's lots to go over today. So it's going to be a bit of a long one, and then at the end I will also do tea time, so we can sit down just for 10-15 minutes and just relax, do a little bit of knitting, and just slow down and enjoy just taking care of yourself a little bit. So that's what we're going to get up to. Let's get to it, shall we? So I will start with my first finished object. Actually, when I went to babysit my friend's sausage dog, because I couldn't do the video editing, it did give me a chance to correct this top. So I've posted this in my community tab as well. I accidentally sewed the straps to the wrong bits, so it was a little bit wonky, but I've managed to unpick it and reattach it in the right place this time. So this is the Strawberry Fields top by Massimil. I hope I'm saying her name right. It's just so cute. So I had this top in mind when I went to the Great British Fibre Festival to try and find a silk yarn, because when you're doing summer tops, you don't really want to be doing it in like thick, chunky kind of warm wool. So anything woolly I kind of steered away from, and in particular you want to be looking for natural fibres like silk, cotton or linen, because they're very good for warm climates. So I actually, when I lived in Hampshire, I went to a silk mill there called Whitchurch Mill, and learned all about silk and how it's processed and made into fabrics, and they had a working loom there as well. But silk is one of those magical fibres, a little bit like wool, in that in the summer it's a very cool fibre because it's breathable, and it wicks away moisture quite quickly, so it dries quite quickly. But also in the winter it's warm, so it's magic. How can it be both things? So I knew I wanted to find 100% silk fibre, but I couldn't find any at that show. So the fibre that I went for was actually recommended on the pattern. It is the 100% silk by Knitting for Olive, and this colourway is, oh god, I should have looked that up before I sat down. Let's have a little look if I can find it first. Right, I've got it here. So it is their pure silk in dove blue, and it is 100% Bourette silk, which I didn't know what that meant. And admittedly, I didn't read the description before I bought it. So Bourette silk is this is sort of in line with Knitting for Olive's kind of ethos, in that it's a sustainable yarn. So it's made from the waste process of normal silk fibres, so, or yarns. So the kind of the stripping process that makes the proper silk yarn really shiny and really smooth, the strippy bits that are produced, the waste from that, is made into this, which is Bourette silk. So I think they're technically both mulberry silks, but kind of equate mulberry silk to being the shiny, kind of soft, lustrous one, whereas this one, it's slightly duller. It's still got luster in it because it is silk. It's still got all those magical silk qualities to it, but it's just a little bit, it's more, it's not unprocessed, but it's like unprocessed silk in, like in the fabric industry, it would be like a Dupion silk, where you have the very visible slubs that are present in the threads when it's like unwound from the silk cookings. So it's got that kind of rougher, I'd say, quality to it, and it's less shiny and lustrous, but it's still, I mean, it's still got a beautiful sheen to it. You can see in the light here, and it's not that rough. It's not like a smooth kind of yarn, and it feels dry. So all silks will feel dry because that's just how silk feels, but it does feel drier than other yarns might feel that have that kind of oil in them from like the sheep yarns. So that's just something to think about. It's not as drying as a cotton. So I don't actually like knitting with cotton for clothing, because cotton tends to dry really slowly, and it takes on a lot of weight and when it gets wet, so it can stretch and become quite distorted after a while. This does stretch a little bit when it gets wet, but not as much, and it also dries quicker than a cotton, so that's why I went for silk and not a cotton blend. Let me just get rid of my dog because my dog got rid of. So the pattern that I used, she had used like a beautiful putty kind of, it was not grey, it's quite a warm kind of neutral colour, but because I'm so pale, I need a very definite colour. I was a bit worried it might make me look naked if I'm just like white the whole way down. So I went for a nice strong colour, and I absolutely love this little top. I love the style of it. I love the French style in general. Let me just, that's that better. Yeah. I love the French style in general. So I used to work over in Paris at a trade show when I was in the lingerie industry, and I just used to love going to Paris and seeing all the chic women, and the French have that very effortless kind of chic look, you know, the kind of tousled hair where they look like, oh, I just woke up this way kind of thing. I love that kind of French style. So it's quite a classic way of dressing. I think that's why it appeals to me, because okay, so it's not like a vintage top pattern, but it's still like a classic shape, and it suits most bodies. So that is why I went for this one. And you can see it's got this, it's called Strawberry Fields top. If I just show you, this top bit here is a little bit, where the threads are pulled through, is a little bit like the green bit of a strawberry, whereas the bottom kind of scoopy bit is like the body of a strawberry, the main bit. What do you call that bit of the strawberry? The red bit. But I thought it was a really cute pattern. I mean, it was quite repetitive, and it's knitted from the top down, so you can see at the top it's not as defined, the pattern, as down at the bottom where it scoops in a little bit more, where I got used to doing the pattern. So that's what I'll say about these her patterns, Massimil's patterns, is that they are the competent intermediate kind of knitters, because the pattern itself is not difficult once you get used to it, but it's tricky to get your head around in the first sort of few repeats. So you need some kind of competent skill to be able to do this. We'll have a go at it in a swatch and see how you go, but it's a really pretty pattern. You've got some German short row shaping at the front to make it slightly taller at the front than the back. I'll show you the back. And then it's just a really cute little top. So this came out quite short, so you are supposed to knit it quite short because it grows when you block it, but I don't think it grows as much as I had hoped. So it's quite a cropped style, but I'll be wearing it with like high-waisted trousers or skirts, so that doesn't matter to me too much. So bear that in mind if you do want it a little bit longer. Maybe do a couple more repeats than they state on the pattern. But yeah, it's a really cute little top. I can see myself getting lots of wear out of this, so as a vest top in the winter, or just in the summer as a little tanky type top. But yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? And that's what I love about her patterns. They're really feminine, and they're really chic and have that effortless, cool kind of quality to them. So that's the first summer top that I recommend, because believe it or not, guys, it is summer here in the UK. So we had 5 days of hot weather. And what other countries don't necessarily understand about the UK is, number one, air conditioning's not really a thing. It's only in the really like posh or new hotels, or new like company buildings up in London sort of thing. It's not standard everywhere by any means whatsoever. And also our houses are designed to keep heat in, which is great in the winter, but not so great in the summer. So you get the kind of accumulation of like 5 days worth of 26 degrees centigrade plus weather. I think in sort of East Anglia and London it was more like 28 degrees, you know, edging up to 30 degrees. And we're not built for that, the Brits. We are just not built for hot weather, I don't think. And I think like our national sport is complaining about the weather. So it can be quite hellish when the buildings trap the heat in, and it's probably hotter inside than it is outside. So a lot of the time in the summer, you will see Brits congregating in the supermarkets in the cold aisles because it's nice and chilled in now. So, but anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, I think we've had our summer. It's back to raining and horrible weather out there. I mean, it's kind of got a chilly wind, but it's quite humid at the same time, which I do not do well with humidity. So I'm back to moaning about the weather. Anyway, let's go on to the next knit. So the second knit, I chose a yarn that I wanted to try from Lee's Tailor. So I think the recommended yarn for this particular knit was a cotton yarn. I don't really like working with cotton. It's kind of drying on my skin whilst I'm knitting, and also I don't like the heaviness and stretchiness of the fabric when it's made. But I really wanted to try Lee's yarns because they are just really scrummy colours, and again, they're very traditional kind of chic French kind of can you get French colours? I don't know, but they very much speak to me, the colours. And so I sent away for a parcel. I'll show you the colours that I got. So first of all, we have to adore this lovely tissue paper that's got her branding on. As someone who had their own brand, this is very expensive to do, guys. Appreciate this tissue paper is branded, and it's metallic as well. That's another process that's more expensive than, say, just one flat colour. Metallic, very expensive. Anyway, I went for her merino with silk in this gorgeous green for my second knit, which is the Maybe Lily top, which I'll show you in a sec. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at the luster on this. So this is your more traditional silk luster than the knitting for olive, which in comparison, it's still got quite a bit of a sheen to it, but you can tell that this one's a little bit rougher than this one. But this is just so soft. I'm so glad I bought this. But the makeup of this is 70% merino to 30% silk, so it's got quite a good silk content in it. So I thought I'm going to brave the hotness of the merino, and hopefully the silk will bring my temperature down with this top. But it's such a beautiful yarn. I'm so glad I bought this. And the second colour I got is this beautiful, I think it's cloud, but they call it neige. I always thought it meant snow. Noir? Noir? Oh, who knows? Sorry for murdering your language, French people. But yeah, this is a beautiful sort of lilac-y colour. So they do have another lilac. This is a new colour for their summer range, and it is cloud. So it is much more of a cool lilac. So their other lilac is much warmer. It's got more pink tones to it, or a redder kind of tone to it, whereas this is much more blue, but it's beautiful. And my third top that I show you, I'm going to be doing in this. But yes, so the second top is the Maybe Lily. Let me check that, because who knows. Maybe Lily tank. And this is being done. Why is this so wonky today? I don't know. So this is the one that I'm doing a knit along with, and I'm guessing, but I don't know, so don't quote me on it, but the pattern is called Maybe Lily because, to me, the pattern, repeat, these little clusters or bubbles, they look a little bit like lily of the valley flowers, how they sort of clump in the wild, which I think is really pretty. To me, they look like little pea pods, especially in this green. But it's a really cute little pattern, and there's lots of shaping. And as you can see, I have put lots of stitch markers in. So usually when I'm doing like lace work or colour work, I don't bother to put stitch markers in because I don't struggle too much with following the pattern. Like usually I can tell from the row below what I should be doing on the row above, and it's not confusing, and it does okay sort of thing. But this is a really, like, you have to pay attention to this pattern. Again, it's another sort of intermediate, competent intermediate pattern, in that you have to concentrate on it. So there's no watching TV with this, I'm afraid. I have to concentrate, otherwise I go wrong, and it messes up the pattern if you go wrong. So I've had to unpick quite a few rows a few times, so it's painful. So don't watch telly, guys. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. So the cast on technique, you do an I-cord cast on. So you do a provisional cast on, and then you pick, oh, I did it. Yeah, it's a provisional cast on. I don't know, she does some videos, so she can help you with that. But it has produced quite a loose sort of first row, which I don't think looks too bad. So if there's a really obvious part, so you can probably see it more here. This first row is quite loopy here. But she has since brought out another video for another casting on technique, if you don't like that loose kind of first row look, so that it's a little bit tighter. And I think she also suggests you might want to go down a needle size for the very first sort of cast on row, so that it doesn't have that loopiness. It doesn't bother me. It's because of the pattern, you can't, from a distance anyway, you can't really tell that it's a little bit loopy. But having this I-cord is really nice. So it is a top that does up at the front. So you do little crochet loops for the buttonholes, and then you can use either a button, or you can make a little crochet button to match maybe the bobbles. That would look really cute, wouldn't it, have a little bobble button. So it does up the front, and then it has, you separate for the front sort of lapel bits, and then the straps are I-cord again. So there's quite a few techniques in there, and as it's a knit along, each week Camille is bringing out a video to show you those different techniques, so you can knit along. And I think they've got a Ravelry group as well, which is quite nice to sort of see other people's work and which colours they've chosen. Someone's chosen a gorgeous red colour to do this in, which is really nice. But I went for sort of this green, mossy green colour that kind of reminds me of sort of spring greens and things. So I think I'll get a lot of wear out of this top as well. But yeah, as you can see, I've not got very far, because it's quite complicated, and I decided to knit the medium, which I might regret because it's looking quite big. But the tops, her tops, are brilliant in that they are just straight up and down. So they've got that kind of loose, summery feel to them. So the shaping is when you sort of put it with a high-waisted skirt or trousers, it kind of is a more loose and baggy style. Let me just pop it in the screen there. So it's really simple because there's no shaping. You just knit the same amount of stitches up and down. So it's quite simple in that respect, which is clever, because then it means you don't have to do any maths or anything. But yeah, it's taken quite a long time. So I've gone for the medium for this because it's based on my bust measurements, and to get it to be sort of loose and baggy on the bust, like by a couple of centimetres, not by much, I needed to knit the medium. Whereas I think this one, is this a small or an extra small? I can't, probably knit a small. And that's I tried it on yesterday, and it's not that loose. But it is just a nice little tank top, so yeah, maybe go up a size if you want a more loose kind of relaxed style. But this is like your vintage kind of style. Yeah, anyway, so that's top number 2. Top number 3, I will have to pop a picture up because I have not started it yet. So this is the opal top from Liz Taylor, and when I saw it on her Instagram I knew that I needed to knit it because it was just so pretty. So it's like a tank top with just sort of covered shoulders and like a little fluted almost sleevette, you could call it. So it's really pretty, and it's got an all over lace pattern. So it's a very simple top. I'd say probably a beginner could go for that one. And again, it's just that kind of chic, feminine French kind of look top to it, and it was just so pretty. I knew I had to make it, so I've gone for this colour. And that brings us to the end of our trilogy. The next section, shall we look at finished objects? So because it's been such a long time, just slid down again, I've got quite a few finished objects. So apart from my my top that I've already shown you, in my Great British Fibre Festival, a bit of a mouthful, video, which I'll put a little link to, you might have noticed that I finished doing the embroidery on this top. So this again is a Liz Taylor pattern, and you can see the glitter really well from this distance. My glittery yarn. So that's all my little flowers done. I think I explained in my last video the flowers that you embroider on using like a transfer paper that you stick on, and then you embroider over the top, and then you dissolve away the paper, and you're just left with these beautiful little flowers. And what I loved about this is it's a very classic top, so it's got that kind of vintage-esque look to it. So if you look at the styles of like the late 50s, early 60s, it's quite like that, but in a modern way. So I think I'm going to get quite a bit of use out of this top. Oh, it's just so glorious, the glitter. Again, it's pink. It's my Barbie era, isn't it? So that's that one finished. And then ages and ages ago, I cast on my skater sweater, or skating sweater, should I say, and I finished it, and I just absolutely love this pattern from start to finish. So it was so quick because it was yeah, that's the front, I think. It was so quick because it was in Aran, and I just absolutely love doing this because it was such a quick knit to do, and it was an interesting pattern to do. So I really recommend this. But I did make the mistake of going from this, an Aran yarn, to the Strawberry Fields top, which was more of, I think they say it's fingering weight, the Knitting for Olive stuff. Where's it gone? But to me, it's not quite a lace weight. But it's not, to me, it's not like a fingering or full ply. It's a little bit thinner than that. So this is that is the thickness of Knitting for Olive, and this is a normal sort of 4 ply. So if I can get those closer together, can you see? Oh, I'm rubbish at this. So you can see it's slightly thin. I mean, they're quite close actually, aren't they? But it is slightly thinner, but not as thin as a lace weight. So I made the mistake of going from Aran to this. So this felt very, very slow and very painful, which I should have maybe done like a decreased down slowly, like done a double knit weight first and then this one. But yeah, if I had done this, if I'd knitted this every day, like morning, noon and night, I could have got it done in a week or 2 weeks because it was so quick to do. It's not showing the collar very well, but it's so cute. So I'll pop the pattern for this in the comments because it's not the only pattern that was in. It was like a booklet of patterns. There's some really cute 1940s ones in there if you want to have a look at those, because it was just a really nice knit, and I really enjoyed doing it. And it's not very often you come across like patterns like that. Like I'm finding the Massey Mill ones, the more difficult French ones, I'm finding them a little bit repetitive and a bit, and it's taken me quite a long while to grow it. Especially with doing the bobbles, they're quite time consuming. But the other one, the Aran chunky yarns all the way, it's super fun. So that's my finished objects. I do have some half finished objects because I've been so tired, I haven't been doing that much knitting. So I finally cast on my second sock, and I've actually got quite far. So I started these back in, I think, my second episode, and I lamented my unfinished socks and how I can never quite get around to doing them. I did undo the cast off and add a little bit more length to this because it was coming up a little bit short, and I knew I wouldn't wear them if they were uncomfortable, sort of thing. So I've added a little bit more length to the cuff, and it's perfect now. And so yes, I've got onto my second sock. Are you proud? Are you proud? I'm proud. I think I went wrong. Oh yeah, the toe. I forgot to do the pattern in the toe, so they're slightly different, but hopefully they'll be wearable when I finish them. But I was doing that one whilst I was waiting for the other yarns to come. So that's another work in progress that's not quite finished. And then I've also haven't quite finished my Lost Souls shawl. So I actually ran out of, or nearly ran out of yarn, and had to buy a third skein. So what I had forgotten with crochet is it takes 30% more yarn than a knitting project. So it has been eating yarn. So this will be a 3 skein shawl by the end of it. And I'll probably have plenty left. It does mean that I will be able to do the tassels that I wanted to do. So I'm very nearly there. I think I'm up to 14 skulls across, and I wanted to get to 15 before I cast off and then do the tassels. So it's a good size, but it just wasn't quite enough to finish, which was annoying. So I got that third skein. But yeah, I haven't done anything more of that for a very long time. So hopefully that will get finished soon, but that's all of the knitting that I've been doing, I think. And crochet. Then my very last thing to show you is my lovely Beanie Baby inspired yarn, which I just think is absolutely gorgeous. How, oh sorry, I forgot I had a marker. How joyful is that? Look at it. Just got so many colours in. So I got a couple of merino. It's 100% merino. It's got no nylon in it, this particular one. For this, I'm going to do like an Icelandic type or Norwegian type sweater that knits like a yoked, that knits from the top down, and I'll do the colour work in this so that you can see the graduation of the colours along the pattern, and I'll put it with a really deep contrast, like a really dark charcoal kind of colour, or black, so that it really pops and stands out and shows off the colour changes in these. Then this, the boucle, I have no idea what I'm going to knit with this, so I have 4 of these. Let's see, it is 220 meters of double knit boucle, and I don't know what I'm going to knit with this, because there are a few vintage patterns with boucle yarns in mind, but I think this is just too modern a yarn. Like, I don't think vintage patterns are going to look that good in it, or it's not going to show off the yarn as much as I want it to. It would just look a bit weird to be in like a 1940s shape, but in a very modern, multicoloured kind of, I just think it will look weird. So I think I'm going to try and find a more modern kind of snuggly kind of top, I think, or like slouchy kind of cuddle top that I can wear on the sofa. and look fabulous whilst wearing it. But look at all these colours back here, because there's a light that blanches it a bit, but it's all those Beanie Baby colours that you can remember from your childhood. So all these greeny blues, there's some peachy and some yellowy colours, and then I think, yep, it's got a little bit of lilac in it as well. Can you see that? Oh, it's just so delightful. I couldn't not buy it, even though I have no idea what I'm going to knit with it. It's just too much fun. So that is, oh, and this is from James Makes Yarn, and he does lots of brightly coloured yarns, which are really fun and modern. So go and check him out. I'll pop his details in the links as well, link in the comments below, so you can check him out, because they are just gorgeous. He does lots of other fun and bright colours. He's got like solids that are like neon bright. They are so bright. Like there's a beautiful kind of jadey kind of green colour that would look really beautiful with these, but again, it's just too modern for me. But I don't know what I'm going to make, but I love it. Exciting stuff. So that's in the stash, waiting for a project to inspire me. So if you know any like boucle, what would you call them, patterns, like maybe some vintage ones might suit it. You might have some fantastic idea. I'm not very good at visualizing like variegated yarns, because I am much more of a solid yarn person. But if you are that creative kind of mind, do let me know in the comments which kind of patterns I can use for that. And if you liked this video, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Like whichever corner it is. I think it flips me, so it might be this corner. And hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell when you hit subscribe, because then it will give you notifications of when I upload a new video, even though it's been a very long time. Hopefully I'll try and get back more into the swing of things, and then be more regular. But I'm going to go and make a cup of tea, and then come back for tea time. Welcome to Tea with Betty, but actually today I don't have tea. I have very yummy homemade cordial. So this is elderflower cordial. If you're in the UK, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's been a particularly good year for elderflowers this year, and I've been making lots and lots of elderflower cordial. So cheers. Oh, yum yum. It's just the taste of summer, isn't it? But yeah, I used to struggle. Like last year, I really struggled to find elderflower, because I don't have an elderflower bush or hedge. So I have to sort of forage locally on my dog walk, and there always seemed to be elderflower last year that was just out of my reach. So all the lower branches, there weren't any flowers on, and it must have been a particularly bad year last year. But I don't know why this year. Maybe it's because it was so wet over winter time, but it was a really good year for elderflowers, and I'm seeing them literally everywhere. I've got so many hedges like marked out where the elderflowers are, because last year I couldn't see them because they obviously hadn't all flowered. But yeah, they're everywhere. And like just driving along locally, I could say, oh, there's elderflower. So I know all the good spots now, with like low branches, so that I can actually get to them. So yeah, has anybody else made any elderflower cordial this year? It's been a prolific year. I literally could have gone into production. It was like that bountiful, but yeah, no, I'm not going to, don't worry. But yes, so let's set a timer for a good chunk of time. Let's do 15 minutes today, just to relax after a hectic week. This year it probably will be Friday or Saturday by the time I've edited this and got it up. So let's just relax at the end of the week. Take 15 minutes for yourself just to really indulge. And you could do any craft you like, not necessarily knitting. You can do crochet or cross stitch or any other tapestry, needle latch, carpet thing, anything you like, just to chill and have 10 minutes for yourself. I might be quite quiet this week through this because, like I was saying in the main video, this is quite a complicated pattern, so if I talk I tend to go wrong. So you'll have to bear with me, guys. And I also have to have the pattern up because I can't remember it. We are on a bubble row. You will get to see how frustrating these bubbles are. And there are literally hundreds of them. And I'm going to make this top a little bit longer than my Strawberry Fields one and the recommendation on this pattern, because I just want a little bit more length to it. So it's going to take even longer. Oh joy. Slip, slip, knit, one bobble. So one of the good things about the knit along videos for this is that this lady talks a little bit slower than Lise Taylor does, which is great if you're following along in subtitles, because you can actually read them and digest the information before it goes on to the next bit. So if you are doing her knit along, it's really worth watching her videos in subtitles if you're not French or can't speak French. Managed to create that first time. It usually takes me a couple of goes to try and catch all the loops. Success, a little bobble. Oh, now what do I do? Two. That's another thing about my new job. I instantly, and it's like literally one of the first days I started, lost my glasses. So it's been a struggle trying to see. And although I can see without glasses, it's that kind of extra strain on your eye muscles, isn't it, when you don't wear glasses? So I've been struggling without them for about 2 weeks. And then I finally admitted to myself, no, I'm going to have to spend the money and get a new pair, which I'm very salty about this because I used my own frames to save money. So it was just an old pair of frames that I had lying around. I was like, oh, they'll do. Because otherwise it would be like new frames. Like, they do have the cheaper range, which start from £69, I think. But they're not very nice. Like, the nicer frames are always like the really expensive ones, so like £280 kind of expensive, which I just don't have at the moment. Hang on, to 3. Put on yarn over. Yeah, see how easy it is just to go along. So I use my own frames to try and save money, but because I was using my own frames, they charge you for using your own frames because they want you to buy new frames from them that are like £300. And it was £70 just for the pleasure of using my own frames, and that's without them accepting liability if they break them whilst putting the lenses in, which it's very unlikely that they would because they're experts. But yeah, so £70 for that. Then I had to have an eye test because they don't like to issue your old prescription just in case in the time between eye tests your eyes have changed. So that was another £30. So right off the bat, without doing anything, it was £100 just for turning up, sort of thing. And then one bubble. And then the lenses themselves were £70, so £170 for a pair of glasses. Not happy. And everyone's saying to me, oh, your old pair will turn up once you buy the new ones, but they haven't yet, luckily. But I have literally turned my house upside down and I have no idea where my glasses have gone. I've looked outside, so I've looked in my car, I've looked in my greenhouse, in the shed, just outside generally, all the rooms in the house that I usually use, nowhere. And I've looked in rooms that I don't usually go into and they are nowhere. So I literally have no idea where they've gone. There's obviously a black hole in my house where they've gone. I'm not happy about having to spend £170 just to be able to see. See, I didn't get that one the first time. It's easier to do it again than try and get all the loops. My dogs are barking. Someone's at the door. Did I get it? Did I get it? I don't know if I did. Is that the... Yeah. Okay. There's only, I think, 3 attempts at that one. Like you can tell in my knitting where I've been more tired because the bubbles have got more rough, shall we say. So you can see how slow this process is. I'm on my third bubble. I think there's 15 repeats of the pattern across the top. That's why it's taking so long. And they swore them. YouTube doesn't like swearing. If anyone has any tips on how to do bubbles but more easily, let me know. Oh, got it. Fourth bubble. So close, come on. Come on. I don't think that could be the right thing. Bottom pulling. Is it? Seems to have worked. Don't question it if it works. Did I actually press the timer button? Because it seems to be going on for a while. Ooh, no, still got 52 seconds. There we go. I will just finish this last bubble because I've only done like 4 in like 15 minutes, which kind of indicates how long this top's going to take when there's 15 repeats across the row. 15 little bubbles. If you don't catch all the loops, the bobble doesn't work because it all unravels. So, damn it. That's why you have to make sure you got all the little bubbles through your needles. It looks a bit cat-handed as well doing this. It's not the easiest of bubbles. I swear I've done bubbles like much easier than this. This is an unnecessarily complicated bubble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 loops. There we go. Just can't grab the thread to pull it through. Got it. Okay. Been having to like use my fingers as well to grab the thread because I just can't get the needle to grab it. There we go. Maybe I need sharper needles. Right. Now I haven't caught all the threads. That's so annoying. Right, I'm just gonna undo that and do it another time because otherwise I'm gonna throw it out the window. That's supposed to relax us, that 15 minutes. There we go. Right, so that is the end of today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. The next episode I've done an interview with a very special lady who is undisputedly the queen of knitting, or vintage knitting, shall I say. So that will probably come out, hopefully I'll get that out next week, if I'm not too tired. But it might be 2 weeks' time, so just bear that in mind. But I hope you have a lovely few weeks knitting and that you've had a lovely few weeks beforehand knitting as well. I'd love to know what you're knitting, so let me know in the comments. And I will see you very soon.